Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Krista.
With the Big Family Homestead. And today we are going to do something that we've done probably about a year and a half ago. And that's share a little bit of our experience going from zero homesteading to where we're at right now.
Right.
So we thought, all right, let's tell them the truth. Let's tell them the truth. There's no glossing over it. Let's just give them the 411, the real truth about homesteading. Okay, guys, real quick before we get into the meat and potatoes of this video, comment below. If you think we've missed something or you think you need to add something to the conversation to help people so that they don't jump in and get disillusioned,
Right.
add to the conversation. All right, here we go.
The real poop about homesteading.
The poop. Well, there is a lot of poop.
There's a lot of poop.
But I think with the best way to start this is to define homesteading. And the reality is you can't.
No, because it's different for everybody.
Yeah. It seems like everybody, the word homesteading has become such a buzz phrase that it can mean anything from I try to make a lot of my food to I live out in a log cabin, off grid, or people that just have been living in the country their whole lives and they fit the definition of what a lot of people call homesteading. Right. And I think the truth is the word homesteading is lost its kind of, its core of what it used to be.
Right.
And now I think it's not a very good definition.
No. Where do you go from that?
Well, I think what we do is we give our definition of where we're at.
Well,
what we do.
And if it's something that you are looking into, make goals for what you want for your family and go from there.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But let's start with what we view the air quotes homesteading is. And for us, it's trying our best to be as self-reliant as we can. We're not going to go off grid because for us it's impractical. But we try to grow as much food as we can. We try our best to learn as many skills so that we don't have to go and rely on everybody for every little repair, every little break that happens.
Which does happen.
A lot, this guy. We try to preserve food. We try to share our knowledge and grow in all of those skills that somehow have seemed to have been forgotten.
Right. Stuff
that normal everyday people just used to live and work and do. And now we're relearning those things.
Yep.
Okay, so with at least our definition mapped out, let's talk about things that you should expect.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, things you should expect. Let's start out with stuff is going to be harder than you have ever imagined.
Right. It's doing this lifestyle is not,
it's work.
Not easy. It's not just, here I have this gallon of milk, or I have this 20 gallons of milk.
Yeah.
Which is reality. Now what do I do with it? And
Right.
how did I get it?
How do I keep it?
How do I keep it?
How does the food not go bad?
And not just how do we deal with the milk now? How did we get to this point of having all of this milk? And
for example, in order to milk a cow, you don't just magically have a cow. First of all, you have to have property. Then you have to take care of that property. Then you have to get that grass in shape so that it can feed the cow, so the cow can feed you. So then you can actually milk the cow. Right. Now you've got the milk. What are you going to do with that milk?
Time out. You also have to train that cow because cows just don't know how to do that. They're not just going to, automatically
Submit.
stand there and submit for you to squeeze their teats and get all this milk out of there. Especially if you're doing it by hand, it could be half an hour long or longer. And trust me when I tell you,
It does.
it hurts.
Yep.
It hurts when you first start milking. And even like I've been milking for close to a month. Again, hand milking. I've hand milked before, goats and another cow, and my hands still hurt. Mm-hmm. They still hurt.
And that's just cows, milk.
Yeah.
Now you've got to get the milk inside. You got to strain that milk. You've got to jar that milk. You've got to have sanitary jars.
Refrigerate that milk.
What are you going to do with it?
Right. What are you going to do with it? Right.
Because you can't sell it in most states.
No.
But that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah.
But that's just milk. Mm-hmm. Chickens, the same thing. Mm-hmm. You don't just magically go buy a chicken and then all of a sudden, poof, you have eggs. It doesn't work that way. It's a lot of hard work. And for those of you who have done this, you know. So we're not talking, that would be preaching to the choir. But for those of you who don't, measure the cost. And I mean not just the money cost, but work.
The work.
If you don't have a work ethic, forget it. Mm-hmm. Everything will fall apart.
Right. You can't just get all of these chickens and expect it to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. Doesn't work that way.
There's poop involved. There's illnesses. There's predators. You got to build cages.
Right.
You got to build nesting boxes. Right. Oh, and if you live anywhere where it's cold, if you're not careful, you're going to get frozen eggs.
You're going to get frozen chickens.
Yeah.
If you're not careful.
And so there is a workload involved that most people cannot comprehend.
Right. Right. There is planning that goes into all of this, and studying and research and studying, same thing. But there's tons of things that you have to know before you even get into chickens.
Or it would be irresponsible.
It would be
because
irresponsible.
you kill your birds.
Right. It would be irresponsible for the care of that animal.
So the workload is a huge one. Mm-hmm. The next one is, I think, expect the unexpected at exactly the time you don't expect it.
Right.
For example,
our daughter's wedding day.
Mm-hmm. The girls were getting their hair all did up and and so Caleb and I were at home and we were getting ready, putting on our ties and getting ready to go. And the neighbors come running up saying, "Your pigs are out." Now this is 5 minutes before I'm supposed to leave the house. Mm-hmm. Expect the unexpected, especially if you have animals. Mm-hmm. Animals are unpredictable.
They don't go by your time schedule. They go and do whatever they want, whenever they want. We've had countless times when our animals have gotten out at, early in the morning, neighbors call, "Hey, your cows are out," whatever. It's going to be a 24/7 job.
Yep.
It's not just a 9 to 5 thing. It's 24/7, 365 or 66 days
however
a year.
You want to count it.
Right. However you want to count it. It's not a 40-hour week.
Stuff happens at the most inopportune time.
Yeah.
Yep. Expect the unexpected. And that would tie nicely into the next one, which a lot of you are going to laugh because I'm kind of notorious. Stuff breaks. If you have any equipment, stuff breaks. I don't care if it's down to a shovel. Right. Stuff breaks. You'll hit a rock. You'll hit this. Mm-hmm. Unexpected things happen. Stuff breaks. Yeah. Guess what? You combine that with the animals and you got a dead electric fence. You didn't do anything wrong. No. It just broke. Mm-hmm. The cows figured it out and bye-bye cows. Mm-hmm. And then that happens right before the wedding or whenever. Right. And you have to go chase the cows. Right. You can't just be like, well, because they'll either get hurt or killed or something. Right. And the more expensive your stuff is, the more expensive the repairs are. Mm-hmm. And as much as we try to be self-reliant and fix things on our own, which we do, mm-hmm. sometimes the repair is just going to set you back.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Be prepared for repairs, you know, because it will inevitably happen.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times, guys, that all of a sudden you'll be in the middle of a job and poof, the hydraulics go out on your skid steer. But the job's got to get done.
Right.
So better grab a shovel.
Right.
Because that's what you're going to do. Other things. The heartache.
Oh, we've gone through this a lot this year.
The heartache. I don't care who you are. You get attached to your animals.
Yeah. Yeah, animals die. It's just life.
If you have livestock, you will eventually have dead stock.
Again, be prepared for livestock to die. It just happens. There is no perfect homestead, no perfect farm. There isn't such a thing.
Even if there was, animals die.
Right.
You may do everything right, and animals die. Sometimes they just get a weird disease, or
Right.
turkeys, for example. We had a set of turkeys a few years back, and these turkeys were straight up gifted at figuring out ways to kill themselves.
Right.
They just did. They
Right.
would get their heads stuck in a fence that they shouldn't be, like perfectly normal fence. And somehow these idiot birds figured out a way to commit hara-kiri.
Turkey Keats are the dumbest of them all, and they will, like you said, they will find their way to kill themselves. It's inevitable.
Well, and I can sense that Mama didn't want to talk about our well.
No, I didn't.
We had a milk cow that we just loved. Her name was Macy, and just before we moved to this place, literally, she was fine when we put her to bed at night.
When we did barn chores the night in the evening, everything was good.
And then the next morning, we found her on her side in the field, dead.
Yeah.
Like with no sign of anything, nothing at all. And the best vet we can talk to after we talk to a vet and some other people, and a lot of people who've done cows for a long time, they just think she had a heart attack. Nothing you can do. No. So if you're not mentally prepared for that kind of happening, then you're gonna not do well. Right. You'll have emotional problems with that, because if you have livestock, you're gonna have dead stock. It's just unfortunate.
It is very unfortunate. And while you're gonna be attached to your animals, you just have to be prepared for that. And if you can't mentally handle that,
it's gonna be a problem.
I wouldn't do it, honestly. I just wouldn't do it.
Now another thing. I'm sorry.
No,
go ahead.
No, I was done.
Oh, I thought you were. That's why. Sorry. Another thing that I think you need to be ready for is that if you do not have a teachable spirit, then you are going to fail at a lot of things. And what do I mean by that? Excuse me. Well, if you don't know a skill and you're not willing to learn it in humility, you're gonna fail, because there's too many things to learn if you don't know where, if you're starting from zero, there's so much that you don't know that you don't even know you don't know.
Right. You could read every book there is about raising cows. You could read every book.
It's not the same thing as hanging out with a dairy farmer.
It is not the same as actually doing it and learning from people who have done it in the past. It is a completely different thing. You can have all the book knowledge, but putting it in practice is a completely different thing. I can't tell you how many books and articles and all this nonsense that I have read, but until you are doing it.
And if you are too proud of a person to ask questions,
right,
humbly,
right,
then you'll struggle.
You will.
You'll struggle for a long time. A teachable spirit is an incredibly big thing. And experience. Hang around people who know what they're doing. Dig in. Don't just think because you watched 3 or 4 YouTube videos that's going to be enough. because it's just frankly not.
You know what else, though? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Really, don't be afraid to ask for help. If you don't know something, ask. Ask several people, because honestly, you'll get several different answers.
Yeah.
And then you can use all of those different answers to see what works for you.
That's true. That's true, because a lot of people feel like their way is the only way,
No.
but it might not be the way that works best for you.
Right.
Yeah, and reach out, like she was saying. We have been blessed with really unbelievable neighbors in this house and in the house that we were at before. Man, oh man.
And super knowledgeable.
And just soak it up.
Yeah.
There was a guy back when we were first starting this, about 7 years ago. Ooh, Nana's barking. Hush up, doggy. This person in Indiana, and we would go to do a task. I don't care what the task was. I do not care what the task was. We would be digging a hole, and he'd go, "Why are you doing it that way?" And I'd be like, because I was going to dig this up, and I was going to put the plant in the ground.
How else do you dig a hole?
He goes, "Well, you're doing it wrong." And he was smart enough that he knew all of this country stuff.
Yeah.
And we didn't. But by the same token, at least what God has blessed us with the ability to go, well, why don't you, what are you doing? Well, tell me, explain to me why it is that you're supposed to do it that way.
Right, right. If someone is, helping you out, showing you how to do something, ask why they're doing it that way so that you understand. Well, okay,
not just this is how I'm supposed to do it.
Yeah, not how this is how you're supposed to do it, why you're supposed to do it this way. And that honestly, that helps 100 times over.
Yeah. Yep. And so I think that if you will take this wisdom to heart, you'll do a lot better.
Right.
And by the way, if you feel like we've missed any good points,
oh, I'm sure we have, though.
Put them down in the comments below. Yeah. I mean, we're still learning.
Right.
We're still learning.
Right. There is a financial side to this.
Oh, we didn't hit that one.
We didn't hit financial side to this.
Costs you more than you think.
It costs more than you think to homestead. It's not free.
In at least our definition.
Well, I mean, okay, but to homestead, it's not free. It really isn't. And in some things, it's more expensive than to go and buy a gallon of milk at the store.
Oh, let me tell you what. Okay, that's an excellent point.
Yeah. Gardening.
Everybody thinks I'm just going to go ahead and plant a garden and then I will have bounty, bounty, bounty. Well, first of all, you don't have the knowledge, unless you have the knowledge. And then you've got to prepare the ground. You've got to get some kind of fertilizer or make it. Or have compost or make it. So you got to learn all those things, make it, do it. Then you got to till the ground. You got to weed the ground. You got to buy or acquire the tomato seeds or plants. You got to buy or acquire or make the tomato cages. And in most cases, it'd be cheaper for you to buy the tomatoes.
Yeah. They won't taste as good though. They will,
the shovels and the time.
The shovels and the manure and the tiller and all of the time that it takes you to cultivate that one plant.
It usually costs you more.
It costs more.
Unless you're looking the long term.
Right.
If you make your investment now.
Right.
And then season after season after season, if you're saving your seeds, and you already bought the shovel last year, and you're cultivating the fertilizer you got for free on Craigslist, well, now we're talking.
Or from your cows out in the field.
Now we're talking.
Now you're talking.
But
don't expect to take off some, to dig up your yard and expect to grow tomato plants.
No, you're going to grow more grass.
You're going to grow more grass. You're not going to grow tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
especially now that everything's kind of gone crazy in the world, everybody thinks I'll just slap a garden in my yard if it gets bad.
It doesn't.
Oh, it don't work that way.
It takes a couple of years. I mean, even the garden that we have now, it has been a garden for 30 years. But we still have to weed it. And we still have to work at it because the last couple of years it hasn't been a garden.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of work, guys.
Well, and to add to your financial comment, I just can't tell you how many times you get into a project and then something breaks. Might not even be Brad's fault.
No, I
But
break stuff too, guys.
stuff
I break
happens.
stuff too.
Yeah, and well, just even trying to get our field in a possible place where we won't grow so much goldenrod, I busted a perfectly good finish mower just because I didn't see the rocks that were underneath the goldenrod.
Right. Right.
You know?
So it's
Money, money, money.
and that was $100 fix
Yep,
for the mower that cost $3 or whatever it was.
a lot of money.
Yeah, come on. It's not just going to work. It is a struggle.
And there's-
it is hard.
Yep.
And trust me when I say, I hope you don't take this as a negative.
No,
Not it
this
just,
is
it
know what you're
sounds-
getting into.
Yeah, it sounds when I'm listening to you talk and hearing myself talk, it sounds negative. But it's really not. It's hopefully to be an encouragement to you to say, okay, homesteading is not easy, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Right, it needs to be a reality that's in your mind.
Right.
Before you start.
Trust me, I would have given up years ago.
Here's a dirty little secret for you folks. And I'm not naming names, but we know a lot of people who do homesteading on YouTube. And not everybody is being completely truthful with you. Not everybody is really, really that good. Not everybody has it all together, but it sure does look like it on camera, doesn't it?
Well, and
And don't go there.
I was just gonna say all the people that come to their place and work for free.
Hey, stop, cease, desist. We will not name names.
I'm not naming names, but I can tell you this:
Don't.
we don't have those kind of people come here.
You guys see enough of our mistakes to know that we can't be full of
We
garbage
can't be-
because
we
would
can't.
be
We are
stupid.
so not fooling you in any way.
No, I don't
We
try
make
to.
mistakes constantly.
But we learn constantly.
And we are learning constantly, and we even show you what we're doing and what's wrong with what we're doing. And you guys help us so much by giving us great advice. Honestly, it's
happens almost every video we make.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and that's the thing that goes along with that ability to have a teachable spirit.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't see that somebody else said, hey, why didn't you try it this way? Or, hey, maybe you could try it this way.
Yeah.
And take it as a constructive criticism, well, then you're going to go through it harder.
Mm-hmm.
So just the reason why I'm bringing up the YouTube channel thing is just because so many people put their blind faith, in what they see on YouTube.
Right.
And not all of it is true. And not all of it is as glossy and nice as these channels, some of these channels make you believe.
Right.
And so just be careful, that's all. It's not I'm not trying to say don't watch them or anything like that. I'm just saying, hey, just be aware. And if you jump into it, you may learn it wasn't like that.
Right.
So I think that's about all we wanted to cover, isn't it? Now we probably got like a 30-minute video. I don't even know.
Hope not. Yeah, no, I think so.
I hope it's helpful.
Yeah.
So that's it, guys. I'm Brad.
And I'm Krista.
You guys have an amazing and blessed day.